Welcome everyone to the Reading Writing Corner. I am Leon, your host, and today we have a little guest. Say hello, Kiki. He has decided to bug me. I had to move him because he was sitting in front of the camera. And I couldn't have him now because then you wouldn't be able to see me. So you get to see him for a little bit. See how long he lasts in my lap. So, if you've been here before, welcome. I'm glad you returned. If you have not, come on, pull up a seat and let us talk about Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. I've been saying his name wrong. I thought it was Ewan Colfer, but it's Owen Colfer, which is a little weird because there's no W and there's an E in the beginning. But whatever. Whatever. It is what it is. This is part of my May 2024 TBR reading list. So here you are getting the full information for what that is. And it is part of a series called Artemis Fowl, because all of it begins with Artemis Fowl. It's like the Harry Potter. No, Kiki, I don't want you going up there. You're going to get in the way of the camera. Stop that. Okay. The series is about Artemis Fowl, teenage criminal mastermind in his siege against dangerous, tech-savvy, fairies. 12-year-old Artemis is a millionaire, a genius, and above all, a criminal mastermind. What made me read this book? I read this book because I watched the movie, and I wanted to read the book to compare the two. And since I enjoyed the book, I will continue to read book 2 as soon as it gets pulled from my TBR jar list. Are you going away? Thank you. Okay, bye, Kiki. The blurb on the back is, Artemis Fowl is a ruthless criminal mastermind. He's 12 years old, by the way. No scheme is too dastardly, no plot too devious, and he's just discovered that fairies are real. Poor fairies. But these are not the gentle creatures of bedtime stories. They are armed. They are dangerous. Then Artemis kidnaps elf Captain Holly Short in an attempt to ransom her for fairy gold. Holly is incredibly dangerous, are pretty annoyed about the whole kidnapping thing. Artemis Fowl is about to find out that fairies fight back. Just look at the image of what that's supposed to be. These are like technically the main 5 characters that happen in the story, so you get them. Okay, my own non-spoiler part of summary is Artemis Fowl has a missing father and an ill mother. Thus, the only person he can depend on is his butler. However, butler must obey Artemis. His goal is to bring the fortune of the Fowls back to what it was before his father lost most of it. He wants to do it in a different way. He wants to gain fairy gold to do it quickly. And that's basically the premise of the book. Okay? The setup of the characters was good. Artemis is brilliant, and Holly Short is a temperamental out to prove herself young elf. And I say young, even though she's probably been around for like 400, 500, 600, 700, 800 years. I forget what age they actually say, if they do say one. But she's technically still young, according to the fairies. Butler and his sister are people trained to serve the Fowl family. The motives of Artemis were twofold for why he went after an elf in particular. How the characters react to the situation they find themselves in is normal, I guess. I've never been kidnapped and I am not a genius, so what do I know about any of that, right? The genre is children's modern fantasy, middle grade. So, something your middle graders can read. But we can still enjoy it as adults, as long as you like fantasy books. Did this live up to my expectation? Yes, it was a wild battle of wills between Artemis and the fairies. Because even though some action happens, it's really about the wills, the battle of wills between Artemis, Holly, and Commander Root. Which character did I relate to the most? Holly Short. She's a procrastinator. Like, she has not been running hot with magic for 4 years, and she's just been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off until she absolutely has to do it, which is why she gets kidnapped. And if you've seen the movie, you should already know this. And if you haven't, well, go watch it. It's pretty good. What about side characters that stood out? Julia is stood out. She's an airhead, even if she was trained to be a butler to the Fowl family. She's more like an airhead, even though she's pretty strong and all that lovely jazz. What was more important, the characters or the plot? The characters, because Artemis' whole goal of gaining gold was explored through his character and his motives and his actions more than anything. There are multiple voices in third-person point of view within the story, and it did not affect my reading at all. So, before I end the non-spoiler part of this, I will leave you with, should you go and read this story/series? Yes, if one enjoys middle grade fantasy stories with a little mystery and lots of fantasy. I mean, elves, dwarves, centaurs. If you liked Harry Potter, go ahead and read this. You probably like this too. Okay? I'm just saying. So, if you think I deserve a like, comment, or your lovely subscription, drop it down below. And if you don't want to be spoiled, please exit the video now. I'm going to assume, now that you had time to leave, that if you did not leave, you want to be spoiled. So here are the main characters, side characters, and important reoccurring characters that happen throughout the story. You have Artemis Fowl, the 12-year-old criminal mastermind that believes in fairies. After lots of research, and actually finds a couple of, fairies. Like the sprite that he got the book from, which he was able to translate because he's smart. Okay? And he wanted gold to help bring his family's wealth back up to what it was. And on top of that, he wanted a favor from Holly Short, as in to cure his mother of her crazy madness, because she went kind of cuckoo when her husband went missing. So Butler, a man from the Butler family that was trained to serve one member of the Fowl family forever. Butler almost died to a troll, but because Holly Short's magic was trying to heal her, and she kind of landed next to him and her hand went out and touched him, it also healed Butler. So Butler was able to go round 2 with a troll and defeat the troll. Dun dun dun. Juliet Butler, a member of the Butler family that was trained to serve one member of the Butler family forever. She was almost eaten by him alive because she was underneath a spell of Holly Short and did not see any danger at all, which defeated the purpose of why the troll was released into the castle, Artemis Fowl's manor, was to call for help, and she wasn't going to, and nor was Butler, and Holly Short wasn't going to be able to call for help because she was a fairy and she was already in the house. Angeline Fowl, mother to Artemis Fowl II, she got an illness when her husband went missing. She went kind of crazy and holed herself up in an attic instead of her room. Nguyen Zuan, I think I said his name right, don't know. He's an informant who informed Artemis Fowl of a sprite. He was actually one of the very few, he was the only one that was correct, that told him about a sprite, because all the other ones that he investigated were wrong. The sprite, it was a sprite that had become addicted to alcohol that gave up her book up to be looked at for a detox, not to be given. She said you can look at it for a certain amount of time. And that allowed Butler to take pictures of it, so that way it could be all sent to Artemis's manor where he could decode it, in which case he did. And in case you were wondering about stuff, this is the Gnomish alphabet, okay? And yes, this on the bottom is actually Gnomish when it says something on it, but I don't remember what. Artemis Timmy Fowl Sr., criminal mastermind that went missing, presumed dead. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff that lost a lot of money for the Fowl family, and that's why Artemis was doing the scheme he was doing. Holly Short fairy on the recon team in the first female A trial run, and she almost died to the same troll twice. Well, I say almost, because the first time she was actually able to easily defeat without sustaining injuries, but the second time she was not so much, and she actually was almost murked by the troll. Commander Julius Root, leading officer of Recon, who deploys himself to take care of the problem that is Artemis Fowl, and ends up owing Artemis Fowl for Holly's life. Foley, he is a paranoid centaur that is extremely intelligent, and he built a lot of the equipment and technology that the fairies use that helps conceal them, track humans, and keep them safe. Mulch Diggums. He's a kleptomaniac dwarf that was sent into Fowl Manor because he has no magic, because he gave it up by, entering homes without permission, because as long as you don't have permission to go into a home, you can't enter if you like your magic. So he gave it up because he likes to steal things. And he used to sell things. And he goes in, investigates, knocks Butler out, finds out a few things, and then he ditches and pretends like he dies by killing a poor innocent rabbit. Mulch, you're a rabbit murderer. Rabbit murderer. Then you got Corporal Grub Kelp, the one that faced against Butler to give a message. He was the only one that did not get knocked out of the elite squad, and he was the one who was given the commands. Okay, Captain Trouble Kelp, he actually gets knocked out by Butler. They're actually brothers, both Kelps, and he changed his name to Trouble because he's weird, I guess, and all that stuff. Lieutenant Cudgeon, he is part of the retrieval squad leader. He wants a seat on the council and will do anything, including betraying people to get it. He actually betrays Commander Root, goes to the council, says, hey, look, this is the situation. Do I have your permission to take this troll that was just recently captured and use it to get a cry for help inside of the building so we can go in and do our job? And basically, he just wants to nuke them all and erase all their memories or kill them. Yeah, so. There's also Professor Cumulus. He's a behavioral specialist that was assigned to figuring out Artemis's behavior because they had a recording of him and Commander Root talking. Dr. Argon was a psychologist who was also doing the same thing, and they did not like each other. They argued a lot, but they did figure out that Artemis left them a loophole, which they did use, obviously. LEP, the Lower Elements Police, is what they're called. So that's what Holly Short and Commander Root and all the rest of them that were part of it, except for Mulch Diggins, they were part of the Lower Elements Police reconnaissance, basically. They had an ability called Mesmer, an ability to control someone by looking in their eyes, and that's what Holly does to Juliet to get her to be free. There are several point of views within this story, and those are Artemis Fowl, Butler, Juliet, Commander Root, Holly Short, Corporal Kelp, and Foley. My favorite character was Artemis, because he might be a criminal master, but he is still a 12-year-old child that loves his mother. Like, he feared that Holly did not do as he wished of her and cured his mother, and when he got his mother back, he was extremely happy that he had his mother back. Somebody that he loved. My most disliked character was Cudgeon because he wanted a seat on the council and wanted to use a troll to gain a cry for help in order to enter Fowl Manor without realizing that one was under the influence of Mesmer and that Butler would never call for help, and Artemis was locked up in a room and couldn't and wasn't, in danger of the troll at the moment. It was told in chronological order with appropriate language for middle grade children, teens, whatever you want to call for middle grade reading. The foreshadowing was there for the readers to see easily because of who the target audience is for the book. The suspense was quick to build and release. The background of the characters were explored enough for the readers to understand the motives and reason for acting the way they do. The title of the book meant the book was about Artemis Fowl. It's about Artemis Fowl. That's what the whole series is too. The cover of the book shows the main characters and what they look like based on their descriptions in the book. So this is what they look like basically in the book, all 5 of them. What stood out as memorable was the way the little details about the different species of fairies made their way into the book, such as the fact that dwarves retrace their steps when tunneling, or the fact that most because Mulch doesn't. He likes a fresh tunnel and not retunneled old tunnels that he's ate dirt of already because they're weird. They eat dirt and then they blow it out their bumhole. Really weird. My favorite passage from the story is Butler nodded, sliding their captive into an oversized double bag, something else to be lugged across 2 fields, a bog in a stile. Such a casual act Butler did as he had complained in his mind about the task at hand. Like he's done it many times before, even though who knows if he has or not, because it's never been confirmed. My favorite quote, "Blow her, chicks, blow the door off its damn hinges," is copying Lieutenant Cudgeon, mocking him in its own way. Because, I mean, he just is. He's just mocking Cudgeon, and that's funny. Funny that he's mocking Cudgeons, okay? He's mocking Cudgeons. That's what it is. What I thought about the ending of the book. It was a happy ending. Artemis went against the fairies, and he got his mother back. No one died during any of it, which is good. I'm used to characters dying in books and things, but I guess middle grade characters don't really die in them. What book does it remind me of? How to Train Your Dragon by Cressida Cowell and Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. A boy against the world in one fashion or another with his own goals. Well, Harry Potter's was mainly surviving. And yes, if you notice, I've rearranged a little bit, so things are slightly different. The book, as you know, is part of a series called Artemis Fowl, and there are 8 books in the series, and there's actually a second series about Artemis Fowl's twin brothers, which I don't understand how they exist currently, because they don't exist right now, and if they do, they've not been mentioned. So I read this book up for mainly because this was basically the setup of the world in the series and what's going to happen from here on in. And it was pretty good for a setup book, but it could have been better. If you think I deserve a like, comment, or even your lovely subscription, drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.